Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. I've made this my life path to remind people that working together, we can make this world a better place for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use, and the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I use to guide virtually every movement I make. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have worked for literally thousands of other people over the years with varying degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, before we get into our topic today, which is literally a new beginning, self-healing, we're going to look today at how to take your life from right this point and move forward. Now understand, these tools I'm personally implementing as we speak. Okay, now with this in mind, a couple of very important factors. Remember, if you do have questions, absolutely put them in the chat room. But remember, please, to put them in all caps so I can find them. Okay, we have in the background there, Storm, who is handling all of our technical side. So if we do have a problem, more often than not, if it's a problem, it gets taken care of before it even becomes a problem. So hats off to Storm there. Would be very much appreciated. Now, we do have, before we go any further here, we have Robert White has come in with the gold. Okay, welcome aboard, Robert. Hopefully things are going well for you. And even in a case, there are severe cases where there are ways of still utilizing these same tools. Okay, I've run into very few cases where they don't work. Now, coming in with the silver, we have Tim James. Tim, how you doing? Glad you can make it. Hopefully your things are gearing up on your end as well. Now, we scroll down a bit and we have L.A. Moon in the house. Now, L.A. Moon is actually one of our premier moderators. The big thing she does, aside from keeping things moving in the chat room, is she keeps an eye on my health. And you'll be happy to know, L.A., that I have said that I've already, literally just about a half an hour woke up from a nap, already had supper, so we're doing good. Okay. Coming in with the bronze is Rachel Andrews. How you doing, Rachel? Glad you could join us. And we scroll down just a bit further, and we have Renee Andrews is in with honorable mention. And Renee, glad you could make it, but thank you so much for dropping in. I see you're going to be a little busy. I'll tell you, this year is shaping up to be as hectic as they get. Now, in addition, we have Eternity Eternal is in. And M. Lovett, how you doing? Glad you could join us. So, how do we go about self-healing? Well, understand something. This is in addition to any medical guidance you're getting. I am not a medical doctor. A medical anomaly? Certainly. But the first thing we do is it's time to assess where you're standing. Now, understand. Like I said, I'm doing the exact same thing. Okay. I'm doing literally the exact same thing. As in, I'm doing a complete assessment of myself. Now, I'm just going to sidetrack here for half a second. Willard Wright, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, I would love to be able to give you an answer to that, but Willard is asking, is there an alien race in outer space like Dragon Ball Z and Originals and Vampire Diaries? And he's gone on to list a number of different shows. I would have to say probably 75% of the shows that you're talking about, I don't watch. So I really can't tell you much. I can tell you that there are a staggering number of races out there. Now, I've only personally documented 120 right now that I'm currently expanding on. I just quit giving people times when it would get done. Because here's what prompted this idea of self-healing. Okay, I spent 2 years in severe depression. You may not have noticed, but that's the way it's been. Ferret, how you doing? Glad you could join us. So the first thing you do, take a look in the mirror. Okay, there's an old saying that goes that essentially says the state of your house is a reflection of the state of your mind. Well, by comparison, the reverse is also true. The state of your mind, and the state of your house is also a reflection of the state of your mind. With that in mind, Blue Cruz, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, what we're looking at is you look in the mirror because when you take a look at your physical appearance, okay, very easy to change the physical appearance or the physical world as compared to changing your mental state. So the physical one's the way we start. Okay, now I will tell you, I'm not a fashion aficionado. Okay, what you wear, what you feel like wearing, the way you comb your hair, whatever, that is up to you. In case you haven't noticed over the years, I don't pay a lot of attention to it myself. But I will tell you this. Let's get your day started off properly. Okay, it doesn't matter really what time of day, what time you go to bed. Okay, you desire to get your health back in order, pick a time to get up in the morning. Okay, now what I mean by that is, from what I've come to understand after literally thousands of clients I've talked to, the most successful people worldwide are up between 5 and 6 a.m. local time. We're not going to get into when I get up as early as I do. But pick a time to get up. And here's the steps you go to get your life started in one heck of a hurry. Get up as soon as your eyes can focus enough to see straight. Or in the case of those of you that are blind, okay, as soon as you can hear well. Get up, go to the washroom, do what you have to. Turn around, come back to your room, okay? Or, however you do it, get done in the washroom with whatever you have to. Get back, get dressed. Now, there's those of you that'll go, I don't feel like getting dressed in the morning. No problem. These are simply suggestions. Operation Shutdown, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Okay, I'm not telling you how you have to live your life. I'm telling you how it can work. And by watching what I'm going through, okay, hopefully I can lead by example. That's the idea. Okay, now, get this. I was up at 1:30 this morning. I don't think this is necessarily a good marker for getting up at the right time. Not for most people. But we'll get to that point in a while. Where are we? Yep. Yeah, I was up at 1:30 this morning. Now, once you get dressed, turn around, and I know you're going to love this one. What's this got to do with health? Make your bed. Okay, now here's why you do it. Okay, and by the way, just to be clear, while we're going through that, backbone of exactly how I did what I'm doing is the booklet I wrote called Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. If you go to the link at the top of the chat room, okay, you'll find the link to buymeacoffee.com/InnerVoiceJ. You can get any of the books I've written there, or book content consultation time with me. What do we do here? Because I don't need that. There we are. Now, the neat part about this is you get dressed, you're going to feel slightly more energized. Don't take my word for it. Just don't. If you haven't done it, give it a shot and see what happens. Okay. Then you turn around and you make your bed. Now, why, pray tell, would making your bed make you feel better? Okay, yeah, fair goes, folks. It's all about the coffee in the morning. Coffee in the morning, coffee in the evening, coffee in the afternoon. I like the idea of an IV line there, Ferret. And I literally had my nutritionist tell me point blank, drink all the coffee I please. Understand, when I'm drinking coffee, most people in a 12 cup, most people who drink coffee put 3 to 4 tablespoons of coffee into a 12 cup pot. I put 1, which apparently is kind of like flavoring the water without the caffeine additive. But you make your bed. I know it's the one thing that virtually everybody, when you're growing up, mom says, make your bed, and you go, I don't wanna. Well, here's the thing. You make your bed, okay? Getting up first thing in the morning, as soon as your eyes focus, you've just overcome the biggest obstacle you'll face in your life, your own stubborn disposition. Okay, that's the one that can stop you cold. Making your bed first thing in the morning, what that literally does is it gets the most annoying job out of the way, gets it completely moved out of the way. You've just accomplished the most annoying job. Now, I'll tell you, you've got 2 successes. You haven't even left the bedroom. Okay, this is the start of a wonderful day. Now, you will find and I've talked about the idea of habit. Okay, average time based on over 100,000 clients. Never mind what you've read. Average time to break a habit or to form one, 21 days. Okay, so now you've got your bed made, you've got yourself dressed. Now we're going to start looking at you. Look in the mirror. What are you content with? What are you not content with? Don't worry so much about what you're content with, because I will tell you this. If you're content with it, leave it alone. But let's say you get up in the morning and you look there and go, well, I'm really not happy with the way my hair works. Oh my gosh, what's the solution? They call it a comb or a brush. Now, of course, I spent years where here was the entire way I used to comb my hair. Okay, problem solved. Okay, the fact of the matter is, I'm not the one to tell you what you consider healthy. Okay, but start making adjustments. Whatever you're not content with, that's what we start altering. But now you've got to look in the mirror. You've gone, okay, there you are. I don't care what it is you see that you like. Compliment that person in the mirror. This does not mean you're going to fit with the rest of the world. Maybe you're happy with your hair still looking like you stuck your finger in a light socket. If you are, leave it there. I personally recommend not using light socket method. There's a few other ways you can do it. Operation goes, I come from Marquis School of combing my hair. I know that, for me, it was easy. Of course, understand, I have found that I am very much a lazy individual in a lot of ways in my eyes. But take a look at first your physical appearance. Okay, I just went through my closet just today and wiped out everything I don't require there. Got it all reorganized. This room, this office, like I said, we're clearing the energy out of it, and we'll get to that pretty quick here. Okay, one of the very big things we have to realize is by altering the energy that you're not content with, you'll find a really neat thing. Okay, you'll find something really neat that happens. And that is that all of a sudden, with the energy getting smoothed out, it's like clearing rocks out of a stream. All of a sudden, you'll find your energy level climbs. Your enthusiasm at life starts to climb. Remember when I said remove alter the energy of the things you're not content with. Now, this is a very big one, and it was a massive step in my eyes for me. Okay, there are, what is it now? Five, I think five, two, three, four. There are 6 people in my life right now, and this includes family. Okay, there are 6 people I am going to be keeping very much up to speed. Okay, on what's going on what I'm up to, because I'm not perfect. I'll tell you that right now. Anybody asks me a question, I'll give you an answer. It may not be the answer you desire, and almost certainly won't come out the way you'd like it. But look at your outlook on life, because we got to get everything organized. Now, I will tell you, Farron brings up the idea of coffee. Okay. Now, coffee is, in all fairness, in my eyes, well, it's part of my bloodstream, I think. But if you take it literally, it is a drug. It is a medication, also known as caffeine. Okay. Now, whatever you use to feel better, understand all medication, from everything I've discovered, I'm going to back that up or I'm going to get shot. Or more to the point, I'm going to get banned. Many people's medication can be corrected, can be altered, if the mindset is correct. Okay, you've been told that a lot of illnesses, a lot of diseases you're dealing with you have to have medication for life. Well, here's some medication that works like a charm on most of them. Okay, you've already got yourself mobile. Okay, now, one of the best medications for depression, is find the fastest dance-paced music you can. Doesn't matter if there are words or if there aren't. Okay, find the fastest dance-paced music you can find. Crank it as high as socially acceptable and let it run. Let it run in the background. What that does is you will find it alters your whole vibratory rate and increases your adrenaline levels, increases your activity, and because you're now mobile, you're going to find mental acuity starts. Okay, now this is in addition to whatever you're doing. Now, by the way, very big caution here. If you're on medication for whatever reason, okay, if you're on any medication, whatever you do, stay on it. Okay, the modifications I'm talking about will alter the way your body works. And if you're on medication, you stay on it. Talk to your doctor. Their tests will tell you whether your body is still requiring the medication or not. Now, of course, there's no problem. If you feel better and you think that removal of the medication may be a good thing, talk to your doctor. Okay, these people are, I would lay odds, better trained than you are in the way of the medical. But find the dance-paced music, crank it as high as socially acceptable, and leave it run. Now, the neat part there is I'm not talking, it doesn't have to have words, but if the music you desire to listen to has words, ensure they do not have things like beat your dog and shoot your cat and run the neighbor down. This is a bad thing for trying to bring your ideas up, but for bringing your mood up. And yes, and some of you will say, but I like those kinds of songs. That's not a problem, but they don't help a thing, in all fairness, based on the interviews I've had with people and the consultations. Those kind of lyrics don't make you feel better in the long run. Okay, now, somebody asked me one day, is music a universal language? The short answer is yes, meaning it affects all beings, whether they are corporeal, incorporeal, elemental, doesn't matter. Okay. What we're looking at is changing the way you look at your life. Okay. That is your doing. You can pray, absolutely. Pray to whoever you call God. Look to the aliens, to your spirit guides, whatever, for guidance, for encouragement. Absolutely do. Okay, my goal here is to give you somebody physical to look at, albeit almost completely off my rail compared to what other people think. Okay, but at least I can walk through this with you and show you how to break things. How to redirect your energy. Now you'll notice, by the way, show you something here. Okay, I talked to you last year, not that long ago, really. All of these drawers used to be absolutely full of odds and ends. Now they've been organized. Okay, and this is what I mean about removing the clutter, because that's the other thing that we're going to look at. Okay, when we take a look at the clutter, energy and water run the same way. If you have clutter all over the place, stuff that isn't sitting where it belongs, what you're going to find is it slows the energy down. Now, absolutely, guys, if you have a question, absolutely ask. Just put it in the chat room. Okay. Also, if you've got a topic, if you've got an area you would like to actually deal with, okay, on this stream, let me know. We will make a note for it. We'll work it in. I've already booked all the way to next Friday. Okay, but now I am taking suggestions, and I will not guarantee they will be the next topic up, but I will put them in. So before I go any further here, let me get this out of the way. Of course, hand doesn't want to work, so that always works nicely. Now, I'm going to be posting this probably tonight. If not, it'll be tomorrow. But tomorrow, on Sunday, we're going to be looking at the Akashic Records, how they began. Now, understand, this is all tied to how to get your energy working and moving in the right direction. This is what's called Organization 101. Okay. On Monday, we're going to be looking at the importance of a home for all. Everybody I've ever met desires to have a place to call home. Yeah. Robert White goes, wheelchair versus clutter. Squish clutter equals squish clutter. Now, I got to ask you, Robert, how, pray tell, do you get the wheelchair up on the bookshelf? I mean, I know my brother used to teach wheelchair in paraplegics how to take a wheelchair down a staircase one step at a time. Unlike what most people do, where they go to the edge of the stairs, they start down the staircase and it's like, okay, tumble down the stairs, get to the bottom. Now, not only do you need a wheelchair, but you need an arm brace. Okay. That's where I can make some suggestions there. M Lovett, by the way, welcome M Lovett. I don't know if I saw you come in, but M Lovett is asking, can you suggest some songs or music? Okay, I will tell you, there are extremes, but myself, I'm country. Okay, I've been, as Barbara Mandrell put it back in the 70s, I was country when country wasn't cool. Okay, but some of the new country, like Kelly Clarkson, does some good songs. I'll have to get a list together, but where are we here? What I'll do is I will post them on Facebook here. Okay, I will post a list of them that I utilize. I would go and find out what they are, but I'll post a list on them on Facebook. If you drop me your email there, M. Lovett, I will absolutely send the list directly to you. Okay, but I'm not going to try and go and find it because I'll scramble something here. Oh, there we go. Robert goes, I could send pics. Yeah. Now, the neat part about it is as you get things moving in the right direction, there is no doubt in my heart you will start to feel better. Okay, I know that's a terribly frightening thought for some of you, but I'm so used to being depressed. I don't like change. No problem. I'm very stuck in a lot of ways. There you go, Robert White saying, I was listening to John Denver and the Highwaymen to clean earlier. I used to listen to, there was a song, I don't know who it was. Okay, but there was a group that used to sing Wasn't That a Party? Of course, I used to live that life, which wasn't necessarily a good idea. But it really depends on this. When you take a look at the world around you, okay, I personally recommend close your eyes, plug your ears. It's really a mess out there. But I see so much about people saying, this is wrong, that person's wrong, this person's doing something absolutely pathetic. Now, I'm going to say something that some of you are going to consider is a swear word. Okay, I'm not, but, on this one, understand, I don't follow politics for a reason, but this guy is all over the internet. Okay, so I'm going to give you two names. And here's a challenge for you. There we go. Oh, there we are. The storm is just letting us know. Wasn't That a Party was sung by the Irish Rovers, which makes total sense considering I grew up listening to the Irish Rovers. But here's a challenge for you. Pick the worst people you can see that you can see on the net. Okay. The worst people. I'm talking the big names. Everybody sees them on the net. I'm going to give you a challenge. Take a look. And like I said, this is a swear word. And understand, I am not endorsing any of these people. They are simply an obvious example for me. Or for you. Take your pick. Take a look at Donald Trump. Find something. I don't care what it was. Find something that he has done that was good in your eyes. Never mind what the media says. Take a look at him from your eyes. Take a look at Elon Musk. What has he done that is good in your eyes? Okay, now I'm not going to add my voice to that one. You guys get to figure it out. I know how much of a rattlesnake's nest I just opened. Okay, but even if you've got somebody you've been in conflict with, find something about them that is positive. And I've said this multiple times over the last number of years. Whatever you're doing, okay, whenever you see something, read something, hear something, experience, you get the idea. Something that falls under the category of negative, as in, you don't feel better utilizing it. Okay. Now, and yes, I can see by that emoji ferret that might be a real challenge to find. My ferret's got this neat little emoji. It's got somebody looking up there, eyeballs crossed, kind of cocked to the side, hand on chin, kind of like, let me think, is there something positive? Everybody has something positive. Everybody without exception. Okay, this does not mean that you're endorsing them. Okay, whatever you do, understand that. But you find something positive about what they did, you hang on to that. But every time you see something negative, find two things that you can think of or that you can expose yourself to that are positive. Now, I will tell you this. For those of you that are married, on the whole, this probably works for one of the things that may be enjoyable. Okay. And when I say married, please understand that doesn't mean you got a sheet of paper. Paperwork has never, held a marriage together. Okay. It does if they're trying to hold it together, but when a marriage collapses, paperwork won't stop it. Yeah, storm goes. Remember, lots of people are very good at being a bad example. Okay. If you're in a relationship that you're content with, I will tell you, regardless of who you are, this is just my experience. If I'm telling you, find something positive, something enjoyable, or more to the point, find two things. Right off the bat, you experience something negative, go give your other half a kiss or a hug. Okay. Or if you're a child, go give your parent or your guardian a hug. Angels in life, how you doing? Glad you could join us. That gets one thing out of the way right off the bat that is enjoyable. Now you've only got one other one to find. But those two people I just listed, find something that they have done of a beneficial nature. Now I will tell you, one thing I have discovered, okay, first and foremost, doesn't matter what goes on. I'm not necessarily a good example. Okay, I'm really not. Aside from getting organized. Now I've got 15 feet of office desk that is absolutely devoid of stuff I don't require. Everything has gone back to where it belongs. I've got, this whole wall has been dealt with now. I got one bookshelf here and the one behind me. Even my filing cabinet has been completely reset to go into 2025. This is your year to really shine, to really step into the spotlight and reclaim power over your life. Okay. Now, I will tell you, when you're out and about, and rest assured, I don't like going out and about much. Okay. But when you're out and about and you're walking along, one of the best things you can do, okay, that I've found, absolutely, let's get started on initiating and really pushing the idea of a pandemic. Now, we've already had the negative one. Let's make a really good one. Start smiling at people. I don't care if it's a fake smile. If you don't feel like smiling, do it anyway. Force it. But people will think it's a fake smile. Yep. But on the other hand, you can smile at them, stick your tongue out and cross your eyes. And I will tell you, especially if you do that to a kid, they'll laugh. And that's the other thing, by the way, that you can do. It's music in my eyes. It's not something you ever try and sing to. But since we are in a world of social media, go on YouTube, no problem. Find yourself a laugh track of children. That is one of the most contagious tracks that you'll ever find. I'm sure of it. And by the way, this literally applies to every species I've run into. Okay, now, this is the starting point of what I'm referring to. Okay, now the nice part about it, and I should have done this earlier, but we have literally revamped positive perceptions, and we're only on for an hour a night. Okay. What do we got? Robert goes, when I'm emulating an Autobot and rolling out, I often do smile at kids, especially when they're looking at the missing leg. Here's an interesting one for you, Robert, and it only applies to some of those of you that are missing your leg. But when somebody looks at your leg and you notice they're really looking at it, just smile at them and go, and then look at your leg and go, oh my gosh, what happened? I had 2 of those when I got up this morning. A simple sideways comment like that, yes, it'll bring confusion. Okay, I walked into a gas station one day and all I did was walk up to the counter. She was looking really stressed. So I walked up to the cashier, I looked her dead in the eye and went, she goes, can I help you? I said, yeah, I was just wondering, can I confuse you? And she looked at me really blank. I said, yep, and turned around and walked out. The thing is, if you can say something that brings a smile to their face, okay, or if you can give a genuine compliment, honestly, it will help you feel better. It'll help them feel better. This, when I say everything is connected, okay, I literally mean all of it. Okay, I get waitresses coming up to me and they'll go, "Would you like your bill?" My immediate reaction is no thanks. You know, most of the time, especially if they don't know who you are, they'll just stand there going, now how do I deal with this? Confusion is your friend. Now, here's the other reason for smiling all the time. Yes, smiling is contagious. You smile, it will release, I forget the chemical, but it will release a natural chemical in your brain to help you feel better. But there's another issue that you go with it. Smile, keep them guessing. Okay. I've had a lot of fun over the years confusing people. And I'm finding that that's what I have to do now. Because I'll tell you, if I listen to what's going on, this world really, honestly, does have a tendency of providing ample opportunity to be depressed. Okay. Now, the reason in the newsletter, Positive Perspectives, that I don't have a bad news section, it's real simple. Robert just goes, smile. It makes them wonder what you're up to. The fact of the matter is, my bad news section in my free newsletter is real simple. There is bad news out there. Bad things do happen. That's the bad news. Okay. There's bad things that happen. For detailed information on that, find literally any other periodical, magazine, newspaper, newscast. Doesn't matter. There's lots of people to help you get depressed, to help you get disappointed in the way humans are treating each other. Now, people say it's worse now than before. I'll tell you, I remember 50,000 years ago. I remember 2,000 years ago. People in the last several thousand years they haven't changed much. They've changed their toys, but people are still going, oh, stuff is important. I'll tell you, you're not taking it with you. The Egyptians tried to they convinced themselves, I bury everything with me, I get it in the next life. They're dead, they're gone, all their stuff is still here. Now, I never paid attention to the value of money when I was growing up. And in all fairness, until recently, I didn't get it. But one of the other things that we look at about your health is literally the state of your material world. Okay, and this is another one of those topics that I am going to be looking at. Okay, and this is why I've got this list here. Because money won't buy you happiness. Okay, it really won't. It can create its own problems. But we're going to, over the course of this year, look at neat little tricks to take the little money that you've got and put it to use. Now, there's fantastic books out there that tell you, if you got $50,000, do this. We can make it work. Yeah. What do you do if you don't have $50,000? Heck, I haven't got $50 to work with. Ferrico, seems like everyone is struggling more than ever and people are just way more angry. Absolutely true, Ferret. Okay. And it's, I'd love to say it seems that way, but I'll tell you, the people I talk to, they are struggling. Okay. I don't even have rent for February in the bank yet. I used to. Now, here's where I made a mistake. Remember what I said about karmic law? Okay. 3 karmic laws, and they apply to everybody. God himself is included. And for those of you that want to go there, well, I believe God's a her. Fine. Himself, herself, itself, their self, the light bulb in the hallway. I don't care who you consider it. Even applying to them. Okay. They still have to follow karmic law. Now, karmic law is simple. Thanks so much, Steve. Glad you could join us. Last night was thoroughly enjoyable. That was on Spaced Out Radio. And by the way, for those of you that pay attention to it, the first Friday of every month, yes, I do a show on Fridays, but the first Friday of every month, we won't be on air because I will be over at Spaced Out Radio. Okay, on Dave Scott's show. Now, when we take a look at the way the world is, okay, I turned around, I totally ignored finances. I am actually owned. And this is flagging, I'm owed rather, assuming that the estate I've been told is coming my direction is real. I'm owed in excess of $100,000. Okay, I'm barely keeping a roof over my head. This is not a woe is me thing. Oh, Steve, I look at the chat room all the time, and I can interrupt my own thought processes just like that. So much as apology is accepted, not a requirement. Okay, the neat little part about it, I've loaned out in excess of 100,000. Correction. If you count that estate, I've got in excess of 100,000 coming to me. Now, the sad part about it, correction, I've got around 70 in the estate that hasn't cleared. I've loaned out in excess of 100,000 in order to help other people. Okay, now, I should have kept money in my bank. I didn't. If you've got an income, I'll tell you right now, okay, and this is not a question of, I work with a bank. I work with banks, go to this bank and to this bank to deal with it. Not the way it works. Okay, pick your own bank. But have an active account and get a savings account that doesn't cost you a thing. Start getting money put aside to handle your retirement. I'm 61. I'm 60. I'll be 61 in, 4 months? Okay. Now, that said, we're going to cover finances as we go through the year and show you neat little tricks to go along with. These are all connected to your health. Okay. Your mental health. What we've got to look at is your spiritual health, the mental split into your financial and your actual physical health. And then we have to look at the physical world around you. The clutter in your house, I'm telling you, even if you're a pack rat or a hoarder, it all works the same way. Now, mine is not the only way of doing things, but let me ask you this. Are you happy with your life? If you are, this is fantastic. If you're not, then it's time to make changes. Now, I'm not going to guarantee a thing, except I won't lie to you to make you feel better. Oh, there we go. Robert goes 52 in 4 months and 3 days. I will be keeping an eye. I'm going to do my best to keep an eye on things because I'm a firm believer that whether you know people or not, wishing them a happy birthday, where's the harm? Well, it's a total stranger. I don't know them. And I care why. Okay. They still have have this birthday thing. It's still a milestone. And that said, Ferret, very belated, but happy birthday to you. See, here's the thing. People talk about this idea of New Year's resolutions. Why didn't I go into any of them? Well, for me, here's when a new year starts. Okay, now, you look at the calendar, the 1st of January, on our calendar is the new year. I used to know the names of them, but there are well over 6 calendars in existence today. So here's a new year for you. This is a New Year's resolution, okay? I won't lie to you to make you feel better. Okay, now we're going to start a new year because every nanosecond a new year begins. We're not talking about making changes. Oh, there, Robert White goes, So I get birthday announcements in Facebook, so I always wish them the happiest of birthdays. Absolutely, I do that a lot myself. I don't get all of them, but in all fairness, I got way too many things. And yeah, there's an excuse for you. I'm too busy to say happy birthday. Guys, saying happy birthday takes a split second. I mean, I'm not going to try and time it, but you figure it out. Yeah. Robert goes, some I don't know from Adam, but wishing them a good day never hurts. It's like smiling at people. It doesn't hurt. And I've yet to see a person complain about somebody smiling at them. Okay. I've heard people go, well, what are you smiling about? Well, got you confused and my day's done. Chaos, pandemonium, bedlam, my job's done. I'm telling you, we can stay going down the same road we have. You can bombard yourself with newscasts that say so-and-so ripped so-and-so off. So-and-so is doing this because they're trying to steal all your money. The government's to blame because my world's in a mess. Well, let me ask you this. Who puts your shoes and socks on in the morning? How about if we settle for the socks and leave the shoes alone? Most of the day I walk around in bare feet. Okay, but I'm telling you, you can pray to anybody you want. I'm laying odds. God doesn't come down and get you dressed in the morning. I do know that I've had people take a look at what I wear and go, you shouldn't be wearing that. And I'm like, fine, pick something that you like, assuming I care, right? I told my fiance, that, if you don't like what I'm wearing, pick something, except I don't wear pink. I got nothing against it. I don't wear pink myself. And I don't wear dresses. And by the way, even with a Scottish heritage, I don't wear kilts. Okay? I got nothing against anybody's choice of attire. Although there are some outfits I look at and I go, why would you wear that? Not, oh, you shouldn't wear that because it's terrible. Robert goes, what are we doing tonight, Brain? Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Trying to take over the world. I haven't watched that show in literally decades. I think it's that old. That would be Pinky and the Brain. Now, I don't watch TV to speak of. Okay, I actually canceled my cable altogether. Because I can find movies on YouTube, and now my sons are starting to pick up the other areas. Again, one of the biggest things that you've got to swallow, the hardest thing for most people to swallow, is their pride. Okay? Now, I kid you not, I've had a lot of trouble asking for help. I've had a lot of people tell me I need it. But what we have to realize, preacher, how you doing? It has been. I hope things are going well. I'm still trying to figure out how to make a trip down there. Sad part of it is I'm having massive problems with income across the board. I'm still keeping a roof over my head, barely. But that's a battle I've started to push. I'll tell you, I've known Eric. I've known Preacher there for years. Possibly, and I don't know, Preacher, you'll know this better than I do. I may have met you before I met Storm in LA. And I still haven't figured out how to actually pull it all together. But that said, this year, I'm not dragging the negative past with me. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you right now, everything negative that you're not content with in your life, let's start redirecting it. Now, I am going to do things a little haphazardly, but where it comes to the different topics, we are going to focus on getting your life back in your hands. 2025, if we don't make changes, 2025 becomes another year. You start making changes, you make the changes to your life, and now what you've got, is a new year. Okay, just kind of like the cereal, right? If you leave the contents the same, you can call it something else. It's the same garbage in a brand new box. Okay, this is why you'll notice that the stuff in my background here is going away. Okay, and yeah, there's that one shelf right behind me. This one right there. I'm starting to clear it out. That's why there's gaps in it now. And no, I'm not moving the stuff just elsewhere. Okay, I'm literally eliminating it. Oh, by the way, complete sidetrack. I told you guys a while ago I started reading the Game of Thrones, the novels. Okay, everybody talked about them being so good. I read the first 120 pages of the first one. I folded the series up. I'm not bothering. The thing doesn't, for me, do anything. Now, it's been a nationwide, well, really a continent-wide phenomenon. Obviously, a lot of people like it. Myself, I don't like it the way it's written, so I quit reading it. Boxed it up, found somebody else that actually desired to read it. So, what I'm doing this year, I've mentioned before, and this is just my way of helping my area out. Okay, I live in an apartment. So the lobby, people keep leaving stuff there. And what I've done is collecting the stuff. But this year, I'm collecting it and storing it until Christmas, at which point the stuff in good shape will end up going to people I have no idea who. But this year I've determined I'm absolutely going to be playing a slim Santa Claus in a way. Okay, no, I'm not getting dressed into a red suit. Not going to walk around with a bag over my head. Okay, or over my shoulder rather than walk around with a bag over my head either. Yeah. Yeah, Fair goes, I was going to listen to the audiobook while walking the dog. Gave up. For me, it boils down to this. People, Christmas is not about the presents. Okay? It's not about Santa Claus. In all fairness, it's not about anything you've been told. Christmas is quite seriously about it is literally, in my eyes, about the feeling of goodwill that we can spread out. Now, why wait until just December? Okay, and I'm figuring if I collect as much as what shows up and wait till December, I'm going to end up with thousands of gifts to give out. Okay, so I'm starting to pack them now. As a matter of fact, I think that's not a bad idea. What do you guys think about this? Okay, what do you think about this idea? Just a thought. Okay, wrap up gifts as I get an overabundance of them. Go down and hand one to somebody and go, here, this is for you. They'll look at you and go, what for? Why not? Happy day. Here's a gift. Okay, now, it may be something they don't require. The so-called First Nations used to have a brilliant idea with potluck. Okay, where they would turn around, everybody get together, everybody would exchange gifts. If you didn't like your gift, wrap it up and give it to somebody at the next one. This is what I'm doing this year. Okay, now about 6-7 years back, I had a little extra money and I went through the local mall. I took $20, put it in a Christmas card, said Merry Christmas, okay, handed the card to the person, and let them just walked off. People will take a Christmas card and open it. Okay, and once in a while, I noticed they'd open it. I'd see the look on their face. Because all I did was go, Merry Christmas, and leave. Because I had extra money. Now, this is where I made the mistake. Now I don't have the extra money, which is a pain in the neck. But we will cover how to solve that. And again, these are just some of the tools we're working with. Oh, there it goes. Well, we're not going to repeat that exactly. Preacher goes, after watching the series so long for such a cheap ending, I was done with the whole franchise. Absolutely, preacher. I love them. Preacher goes, potluck and reciprocity, two of my favorite First Nations practices. Unfortunately, and this is just a sad reality, from what I've seen of the current, and this is why I say so-called First Nations, to me, they do not follow a lot of what the originals did. Their practices were great, but many of them don't follow it at all anymore. They do exactly the same thing that the rest of the world does. Okay, and what I mean by that is, me first, how can I get it? I used to spend a staggering amount of money. Thank you very much, Storm. We're down to 5 minutes here. I used to spend a staggering amount of money because I didn't want to cook. Okay, bad idea. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Fred goes, and Bannock. Yes, my fiance came up to Canada just at the beginning of December and got to try Bannock for the first time. And it falls in her eyes under the category of only in Canada, pity. One of my closest friend, his mother is First Nations and makes Bannock. Now, all that said, we're down to the 5-minute mark. I will be back again tomorrow, but again, we're on 9 to 10 p.m. Pacific. Okay, thank you so much for sharing your time with us tonight. Really appreciate it. Let's make 2025 a massively successful year for everybody. I will be back. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.